Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
We welcome you to our program. Welcome to Studio One.
Carolina, let me begin this conversation by asking you, how did it all start?
I came into dance in, I think, the year 2000 in Colombia. I started training in modern dance, jazz, a bit of contemporary dance as well, and ballet. I mean, I've always loved dance. As a kid, I really enjoyed just dancing around here and there. And I had the fortune that my mother, especially, she wanted to be a dancer. And she was a lot into rhythmical gymnastics. So when we were children, my sister and me, she put us in gymnastics classes, like acrobatic gymnastic. So, but I left it at around the age of 12. And then all these skills that I had started developing as a child obviously came in very, very handy, both for ballet, for modern dance and all of this. So I started realizing that I had some kind of talent or potential to do things that involve the body disciplines. However, I was not completely satisfied with these types of dances. And so I started incursionating into martial arts, Eastern dance forms. I met some people at a school named Los Cinco Elementos in Colombia, in Medellin, my hometown. They had come to India for 6 months or something like this. And upon coming to India, they took up yoga and a little bit of Bollywood, a little bit of Bharatanatyam. So they started teaching that over there in Medellin. And when I saw these dances, when I saw this kind of expression, when I started listening to Indian music, something just clicked very deeply, you can say.
I noticed that you've made some very unusual choices, combination of martial arts and classical dance. Why did you choose, of all the dance forms, classical dance form, the Indian classical dance?
Well, yeah, okay. So continuing with the story, because obviously that is all related. In one of our classes, somebody mentioned that there was a Mexican dancer who was doing some kind of Indian dance. We didn't know at the time what it was. We didn't know really much about it. But we said, okay, why don't we try to bring her to Colombia? Because we were very interested in getting to know more about Indian dances and Indian culture. And so we, with a joint effort, we brought her to Colombia. She had been a student of Srimati Sanjukta Panigrahi, one of the best disciples of Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra, who is like the doyen of Odissi dance. So she gave this workshop in Colombia, and also when the first time that I saw her dance, I said, I want to do this kind of dance.
Okay. What was the attraction like?
Firstly, the completeness of the movement, because in all Indian dances, you have the footwork, you have the movement of the torso, the head, you have all the eye movements and expression.
A lot of facial expressions.
Exactly, and the hands, the conveying of emotion of a particular story. So I was just mesmerized. I was mesmerized. When I saw this dance, I said, this is what I want to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, where, when, but this is what I really want to do.
So it should have been a very difficult decision for you to come all the way from South America to India. You're absolutely changing continents.
Yes, but it was like a dream. I mean, and it took me some years. Like from that moment when I first saw Odissi dance, till the moment that I actually came to India on an ICCR scholarship, took me a few years.
How did you convince your family to let you travel all the continents that you have traveled?
Actually, the best thing was that I had been awarded a scholarship.
Oh, okay.
So because I had already tried, like telling my father, you know, I'm going to go to India to study some dance, and a few times I had mentioned this, and he would always look at me like, no, you're not.
This is not happening.
This is not happening. Okay. You just stay here. You continue studying, because at that time I was studying translation. You continue studying, let's see what will happen. Okay. It was never an absolute no. But when I got the scholarship, actually, then it was like he could not refuse.
Wonderful. So over the years, has this bond that you've developed with Mayurbhanj Chhau, has grown stronger, or the other classical form that you're learning, Odissi, has this grown stronger?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, because I'm just starting the story.
Oh,
you know.
wonderful.
I'm
We are
still on the
getting
Odissi
interested.
side. I'm still just talking about Odissi.
Yeah,
So
wonderful.
till then, well, I got to know Mayurbhanj Chhau from Odissi because in one of the videos that my first guru, you can say, her name is this Mexican lady, her name is Isolda. She gave me one DVD. At that time, we had DVDs. And in this DVD, it was a Kala Vikas Kendra DVD. And in this DVD, there was Odissi dance, there was Goti Pua dance, and there was Mayurbhanj Chhau.
Oh, wonderful.
So when I saw Mayurbhanj Chhau, immediately what you just read in the beginning, that was my reaction. Like,
this is your calling.
this is my calling.
Okay.
And like for the second time.
Oh, okay.
This is my other calling. And I said, well, now that I'm going to go to India, I'm going to study Odissi first because that is,
The scholarship that you
this
have
is
got,
my
yeah.
scholarship.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and find
More
some
of that.
guru. Somehow I'm going to try and learn this other dance as well.
And this was Chhau.
And this was Chhau.
And
yes.
it was easier for you because both are from Odisha, right?
That's true. I mean, they had that connection, which was which is the similar dance postures. Both of them have two postures in common.
Okay.
One is chok or choka, and you do them in both the dances. They're basically the same. The only difference is that in Chhau, you do it, in Mayurbhanj Chhau, you do it with your right hand holding a sword and your left hand holding a dhal,
Okay.
shield. And in Odissi, you have many different variations of this, in this posture, different movements.
Okay.
And then there is another posture, which is like Tribhangi, in which you sit with your weight completely on one leg and the body bends in 3 directions, from the hip, from the chest, and from the head. And that Tribhangi is also common in Chhau, but it's called Dharan. And the only thing is that the posture is a little bit wider. But so already I had 2 postures which were common for both of the dances, and it made sense actually. For me, it made sense like to pursue both of the dances because one had that feminine energy which I really loved and I was very much drawn to, and I think I also needed, like for me as a girl and as a lady and as a woman. But then the other dance had that masculine energy, the jumps, the dynamism, and all the things that martial arts have.
So you had a very good combination of both.
It was for me, it was like a very complete combination.
Okay. When we talk about the process of evolution, I mean, this is the area wherein it has to evolve. And where do you think we are lacking in terms of kind of taking it forward?
The origin of this dance is Mayurbhanj. Talking specifically about Mayurbhanj Chhau. So the birthplace of this dance is Mayurbhanj, particularly in the Mayurbhanj district, Baripada. What is the situation there in Mayurbhanj? What is the situation in cities like Delhi, and what is the situation in other parts of India? In Mayurbhanj nowadays, most of the senior gurus are not anymore.
Oh.
They have expired, most of the senior gurus. This causes that almost all of the teachers, almost all of the present day gurus, they are fairly young. And since this has been a very oral tradition,
Okay.
not a lot of documentation has been taken. People have slowly started to forget many things, either about the technique, about the music, about the refinement and the care that you have to take in executing a movement. In any classical, I think I compare it a little bit because in classical dances, all the classical dances are all the time trying to stylize and to improve that style. That style which is already there, basic. the goal is always to make it, not make it more stylized, but to execute it in a perfect way.
Okay.
Now this motivation is sometimes lacking
Okay.
in Mayurbhanj and in the village areas, because the people who are dancing are the people from the villages. Not all of them get proper education. Now, there is not enough motivation behind the dance, like why I'm going to become a dancer.
True.
What will happen when I become a dancer? Will I have enough to eat? Will I have enough to feed my family? And this, nowadays, people don't find that motivation in Mayurbhanj and in the village areas, because they don't get enough from the dance. It does not give them enough to live in a proper way. Young boys nowadays, they are not that motivated to take it up, to take it actually as a profession. So the way they do it is like very casually. You know, like they come up to the age of maybe 6 or 7 or 8, and then they go to the training place, and then it's like some entertainment for some time, and they kind of do it
So recreational activity.
recreational. They don't really take that much care into how they are learning, into why they are learning, what they have to express with their face. So it's a difficult situation.
You mentioned something like Chhau is male dominated. Now we have two challenges with you. You are a lady and you're not an Indian. So how did you cope with that? What were the difficulties you faced?
Being a foreigner has been an advantage, and also sometimes it has brought me obviously some prejudice or some disadvantage, you can say. It has brought me an advantage because of the fact that because I'm foreigner, then people find it less strange that I can jump, that I can raise my leg as high as I can, that I can be running here and there. Anyhow, they look at me also very strangely. Sometimes we practice outside in parks, and when people look at us or they look at me like what is this girl doing? Like, why is she making so much effort? And it's funny because I think that girls, it's somehow some kind of cultural information in which like girls should not take so much effort. They should not do so much effort, like with like in jumping or in this kind of exercise. So in that sense, since I am a foreigner, it's like, okay, she's different. She can do anything. She can do whatever. Since I had already come from a martial background, for me it was very easy to have that kind of masculine energy. Because it is a masculine dance. It has to be a masculine dance. And also it's interesting to clarify that Mayurbhanj Chhau has two styles. One style is the male style and one style is the female style. Now what happens in the villages nowadays is that girls are trained in the girls' style, in the feminine style. So their movements will be less open. They will be more grounded. They will not raise their legs. They will not be jumping so much, and everything will be more feminine. Whereas the male movements, then they will have that dynamic part of the jumps, of the kicks, of all this kind of acrobatic side that Chhau also has.
So you could not resist those?
I could not resist. I said, and also Guruji, coming back to him, it's been very interesting because when he saw that, okay, she's a girl, okay, she's a foreigner, yes, but she can do this, and she can also do this, and she can also do this, okay, so I'm gonna teach her. I'm going to teach her everything. Like, he did not limit himself to teaching me the feminine side, the feminine movements. Actually, he first taught me the male movements. So when I was in a class, I would just learn all the martial art movements and all the basic techniques like all the boys do.
So I see you becoming a role model for girls, and I see more and more girls following your suit.
Well, I hope so. I do hope so, because we need stronger girls in this art form. We definitely need stronger girls. And yes, I mean, I hope that this path of discipline, willpower can encourage girls to make them believe that they can also do it.
So is it one of your goals for Chhau?
Yes, yeah, you can say that it is.
Yes.
You can say that it is. That a style should not be bounded or limited to a gender. And one thing to think about is that in the olden times, the boys used to get in costume and wear makeup to portray the female characters,
Okay.
since it was completely male oriented, male dominating.
Okay.
But anyhow, they had, suppose they were having an item about Radha Krishna, like Tamariya Krishna. So what happened? I mean, who is going to play Radha if there are no women? Then obviously the boys had to get into costume and portray that role of the Sakis or Radha, right? But anyway, that beauty could not come. So nowadays, something a little bit like the opposite is happening. I mean, some of us girls are coming into the scene, and now we are portraying male roles. Like, for example, you can say that my signature item nowadays is Nataraj. And Nataraj is an item on Lord Shiva, which is completely a male figure. But for me, what I try to do is to identify not with the gender, not with that gender part of the whole thing, but with the energy.
I'm sure.
And masculine energy, what does it require? It requires veed, like that courage, that heroic mood, heroic aspect. It requires strength. And all these things about that energy is to what I connect to, rather more than to, okay, feminine or masculine. And I think that that is something interesting and important for girls to think about, that it's not so much about, oh, it's a woman or it's a man. It's that kind of energy to which they can relate and they can connect to, and they can also portray. Because as dancers, that is our goal. If we are trained, we are taught to emote, to express with our face, to convey so many different emotions with our face, with our body, then we should also be able to either convey a male character, female character.
So tell me a little more about your goals with Chhau, and especially when it comes to encouraging more and more girls to kind of participate and take up this dance form. Any plans of doing any such thing?
Not only encouraging girls, actually nowadays we have to encourage both boys and girls. Sometimes I find myself even doing more hard work than the boys. Sometimes I find, because I know that I'm a girl, I know that what 19-year-old boy, how much he can jump without even practicing. Sometimes it's more than what I can do. So what I do is that, okay, I have to practice that much so that I can jump as much as him. But then what has happened is that this attitude has encouraged me and encouraged some kind of discipline and willpower in me that sometimes is lacking in the dancers, because you find many dancers that they are not willing to do this hard work, that they are not willing to jump every time, to run, and this is one of the particular things about Mayurbhanj Chhau, that it is a warrior dance, that it is a martial art, that these jumps, they have to have that kind of standard, that it's not, you cannot do it halka sa.
Absolutely.
Right? You actually have to put all your...
There are no half measures.
There are no half measures. Yes. And this brings me back to when I listened to Guruji talking about his gurus and the gurus about that were present in his time, like what they used to do, that with one jump they would just go and sit on one tree. Like after jumping they could just sit in the branch of a tree. So, and how even at his age, because he is, I think, 70 plus, he's 70 plus, even at his age, when sometimes he shows one movement and he can jump so much, and he tells me, okay, if I can jump like this at this age, then you can imagine how I jumped when I was young. And so I say, I have to live up to this. Like, my goal is to also be an example of that discipline, that seriousness that requires to bring the dance to that level, which it actually had. The status, like you can say that the quality of dance looks like as if it has been decreasing in quality with time. But it is our duty, it's our responsibility, all of us who have been learning, to bring it back, to not let it die. Because I have to also remind the audience and anyone who is listening that Chhau is a dance declared by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage, which means that it's a dying art form. It's a dying art form. So we cannot let it die.
So you have that extra burden on you to kind of promote it. Yeah, thank you very much for doing that. Now, listen, we are talking about performance, and I've noticed that you have performed at various cultural programs and festivals across India. So, and you have given solo performances as well. So let me ask you, which have been the most difficult performance for you and the most satisfying one?
Well, nowadays I mostly do solos. Previously I was performing with Guruji's company, which is called Gurukul Chhau Dance Sangam. But nowadays, or since a few years back, I've been only performing solo. And this by itself poses a big difficulty, not difficulty, but more of a challenge, because in one recital, I mean, I have to present minimum 2 or 3 dances. So it means I have to keep the energy up to that level of dancing for half an hour, 40-45 minutes, and doing it properly with all the energy that the dance requires. So this is challenging, and this is why this is challenging. But this is, for me, it comes with the sacrifice of the dance. Like, I'm willing to take on the challenge and to do it, and I love to do it.
Anyone in particular that you would recall?
Well, recently I had a very it was a very special performance. It was I went to New York for Erasing Borders Festival of Dance. And I was very happy. I was like very, very honored to be able to carry this dance into such a festival, such a platform. It was the second time that Chhau was performed in this festival, and pure traditional Chhau. And I felt very honored to do it, being obviously the first girl to do it, to present it in America.
And that was a solo performance.
And that was also a solo performance.
Wonderful. Yep. So continue.
So yeah, like I feel, apart from the fact of carrying out and going ahead with Guruji's style, like carrying on his legacy and carrying out Guruji's style, for me, it's also a part of a goal, it's a part of a project, it's a part of a wish and a dream to help people around the world know about Mayurbhanj Chhau, and I think I can do that through my performances. Now, another very special performance that I had was in Khajuraho.
This was when?
This was 2014.
Okay.
And again, I was very honored, very happy to be in this very prestigious stage and festival. Dancing in the temples is an amazing experience.
Special feeling, I'm sure.
It's a very special feeling. You really understand and just feel that energy of why dance was created.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because dance in the beginning was it is like a sacred calling. it is not only a form of entertainment, it is also like a sacred calling to do it. Many of the classical dances in India started only in temples. They used to be done only in temples. So so when it is brought back to those settings, it is just the feeling is amazing. You just feel like you are going back in time, and also that you are bringing this, you are carrying it forward. So it's that bidimensional feeling. It's wonderful.
Wonderful. So, let's talk about who inspired you on this path. What's inspired you in this path?
My inspiration, well, I've had different inspirations. In Colombia, I have to say my first guru and the person who drew me towards martial arts, his name is Omar Granados, and he is responsible for my strength. He's responsible for my strength completely, because he was that kind of guru who would make me sit in a position for, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Even if I would start to cry, it was like, you have to deal with it. You're there and you have to stay there. So this kind of strength, that building of that strength is so important for a person, for an artist. That is the base of why I practice so hard, of why I also try so hard to come forward with this dance. So he is one. And obviously my guru, Janmejoy Saibabu. For me, his passion for Chhau, his lifelong dedication to Chhau, everything. I really hold him in a very, very high regard.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much.